And up here in the top right-hand side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. He is Le PtitDrogo. Razor Edge Gaming.
Incredibly funny angling. It's like, I feel like we see like 1% of Arctur, and then we see Drogo like in 90% of the shot.
Arctur is actually just so young that he is not grown into his camera just yet. He's still getting a little bit of height there.
Actually, how old is Arctur? I think he's in his 20s though. He's been around for quite some time.
Yeah, he's not actually super. He's not like one of the youngsters like Max that's just coming in and suddenly being competitive.
No, Arctur actually was part of DreamHack Leipzig. Not the one that Drogo won, but the one that Sarah won.
21.
He's 21? Yeah.
He's turning 22 this year.
Cool. I'm glad that you got that in. It's like, I need to know when he's turning 22, PtitDrogo.
Well, his birthday's in November. I'm just saying, you know, if he made it to like, you know, the finals, that'd be a good birthday gift.
But which day in November? Give me closure, please.
November 22nd. I have his mom on speed dial right now. Hold on, I'm texting her. Okay, she said he was born at 3:87 p.m.
Okay.
Central Eastern summertime. 3:87.
3:87. How do you squeeze 87 minutes into an hour?
I was waiting for you to pick up on that. I was like, is Roddy still listening to me? Hold on, let's find out.
No, that was my next question. I was like, I need to know if he's born in the night or during the day as well. All of this is important. What's also important is that he's building a factory next to the main base of Drogo. And I think he is going to float this factory into the main. And I've lost against this today. I don't know how, but I lost against it.
Okay. So, Kev, the funny thing is that Drogo's doing what a lot of Protoss players do these days, where he wants to send out that first adept and not have to worry about the Reaper. So he's getting the shield battery in the main base. That's actually going to be extremely helpful if this ends up being Hellions or something, but it's probably going to be Widow Mines, right?
Yes, unless he banks up 3 Hellions. Like, that's a possibility as well. I think he might actually go for that one. He might just float the factory in the main and banks up 3 Hellions. I don't think you go with 1 Hellion. But maybe, we'll see. I mean, this can go many ways, but it's a very exciting opening. Drogo scouts, he's like, wait a minute, you've got a Marauder? Who the hell makes a Marauder this early on? I was like, I guess that's good against me. What's it going to be? Widow Mine? No, Hellion. And I think he's going to bank them up, though. I don't think you reveal 1 Hellion, because it's incredibly common for Protoss players, if they shade their first adept to the other side of the map, to build that battery in the main base, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's got to be banking up the Hellions. But even though 3 Hellions will one-shot the probes, the thing about it is that they will only one-shot the singular probes that all 3 of them hit. And the shield badge is going to heal up any of the other ones, so it does make it a little bit harder. The thing about this is that he's going to try and time this together with a push at the front at the same time. Draw all the units out of position.
This is
Drogo. Oh man, this is a weird attack to face off against.
Yep. Dude, I don't want Arctur to commit though. Now that he spots there are units there and he can expect there's a battery there as well. Just don't commit. He's actually eating a lot of shots on that first Marauder. First Marauder goes down. Drogo is chasing this unit out of position. Does he have recall? Not in the main base. He does have a recall available in the natural. Keep a close eye on that Nexus because he needs to recall these units. If he chrono boosts right now, he's in so much trouble.
Oh, he
doesn't.
The recall is not really coming on out. His units are also very much so not actually all clumped up together. So a lot of these pros are already going down. Shield battery is finished up also with a natural, but it's down over at the front. So most of these pros that are mining gonna have to pull back.
This is pretty brilliant by Arctur, man. I'm absolutely loving this build coming out of the Russian. Getting 12 probes already. Maybe get a few more. There's so many probes clumped up. No, he shot at the Nexus. He shot at the Nexus.
The shield battery was there, and he was already down to 2 Hellions. I don't think he was going to kill too many more there.
No, but he could have killed like 1 or 2 more, though.
Maybe.
Let me be dramatic. A couple of those probes were low on HP. He missed out on a kill.
All right. I'll let you have it. But regardless, I mean, it still puts Arctur at a worker lead in TVP. That is just the nightmare situation. If it's even in TVP at this stage, you're kind of like, as the Protoss player, not feeling too great about things. Maybe if you have a third on the way, but...
Can the Stalkers find the factory before the factory is safe?
Well, Blake is going to finish up, so I feel like he's probably not going to even go for it, right? He's probably going to poke it at the front.
Yeah, well, Marauders do have stim, though. Marauders have stim already. Yeah. No, don't do this, Drogo. You don't want to do this, mate. Stim is done. Marauders have stim. He's going to lose a couple Stalkers.
Yeah. Oh my God, Arctur even focus fires down the further back Stalker because he knows I already have the closest stalker I'm going to kill. Don't worry about that one. Let's just slow down the further back one and make sure we get that too. Well done.
Yeah, very, very well done. Arctur is playing just an excellent game so far. Strategy is awesome, and the execution has been pretty damn sweet as well. I really like the way that the Russian has been playing so far. Drogo definitely not down and out, but yeah, definitely not the spot you really want to be in either. Even in Workers, no third Nexus on the way. There is even an SCV blocking the third Nexus from going down on the right side. All the little things are going in favor of Arctur right now.
Garden Engineering Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, he might.
There's always going to be the warp in right back at home, so.
Yeah, but I mean, even like 10, 15 seconds is nice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, Stalkers are going to get forced back, and they're actually not even in a position where they could potentially blink up to the main and delay things even further, because this Bioforce is just completely zoning him out. Focus Fire on the Marauder does manage to get it. It reduces the Marauder count down from 4 to 3 for this push-in, but this is already actually a scary looking push-in right now. The first Colossus is going to pop, I think, just barely in time to defend the natural. There's no third base right now.
Nope, and I think then Arctur probably just has to be like, all right, if you don't have a third, then there's no point for me to stim into the natural. He is now going to look, did you expand elsewhere? And that is exactly what Drogo is doing, and I think that's still going to be a bit hard. Drogo misses the army, doesn't really have any idea where it is right now. Don't forget the third command center at home already finishing up for the Russian. This Nexus is in trouble. He can actually pick up and go into the main, but the Stalker's not here.
He didn't see the Stalkers down on the south side either, the same way that Drogo didn't see Arctur, so ends up losing one of the medevacs, can't pick up all these units and escape out of there safely, so he's just going to try and take a couple of trades as he stutter steps backwards, and honestly, I think that Arctur is going to feel really good about that.
Yeah, no, this is just... What's the unit's lost resource step? So Drogo has lost more resources while being outmined in this game. This is not a place you want to be, but the good news is for Drogo, he does have a Colossus out. The bad news is Arctur is now moving to the other side of the map with 2 tanks. And obviously once those tanks siege up, we don't have an overwhelming Zealot count. We actually have only 3 Zealots out on the map at this point. And Drogo's in so much trouble.
Yeah, he did have an observer that this entire army walked underneath, so he knows the angle that this is coming in from. He can delay the siege ups, but oh, there's the big lift ups we were talking about. Observer sees the medevacs, so he's starting to reposition. The Colossus is going to be the first ones at the scene. I don't know if the Colossus are going to be able to handle this by themselves. There's the stim forward, and he ends up just actually picking up and getting out of there. Might lose a medevac full of units. No, escapes out safely.
A really good defense there by Drogo, because I think it's incredibly hard to move that immobile army around. Arctur is still kind of trying to push his luck, but I think it's about time to either siege up or just leave, mate. You're not going to get up that ramp unless the reinforcements show up. And now he's sending all of his units to the other side of the map. He's turning everything around. Nope, never mind. Small misclick there. Drogo now spots his army. He knows it's coming. Can the tank siege up in time? Is Drogo just going to fight immediately? The answer is yes. He forward blinks, but I still think he's in trouble here, Fear Dragon.
Yeah, even with the 3 Colossus, it looks like one of them is going to end up falling over here. The Archon, the Immortal, the only things that stand between this Bioforce and killing off all the splash damage here. War Prism tries to move forward. There could be some nice pickup micro, but one Colossus goes down, and so does Drogo. GG. Arctur takes game 1.
In the middle of that fight, if you guys are wondering what's Roddy wadding about, I was like, what? He started to gun down a pylon, and there were 2 pylons, so he's not trying to cancel a warp in. I was like, that's a little bit risky, because there was still an Immortal and 2 Colossi, and then your bio can disappear quite quickly. But I guess that was just a little bit of misfire. Just an excellent game by Arctur. You know, we often say StarCraft 2, sure, it's a strategy game, but the execution is really what makes the difference, of course, at the highest level. And these guys execute at an incredibly high level. But I almost feel that this was a strategic win. Just really well done, right? Some cheeky plays with the Marauder at first, banking up the Hellions, floating the factory into the main base. I love it. I think as a Terran player, you look at this kind of stuff and you're like, I should add that build to my arsenal. I'm like, you don't want to do it every game, but just to have it in your gameplay as a one-off and throw it in every now and then, that's a really cool build.
I couldn't agree more. And it is one of those situations that at least Drogo should hopefully be able to shake it off and be like, all right, like, that should not happen again. It was a weird one-off kind of thing. Everything else that happens that goes poorly from then on is all because my economy is so royally messed up at that point that I shouldn't have the tools needed to deal with like proper multi-pronged aggression and everything. So I feel like Drogo can hopefully shake that one off as, you know, I got cheesed a little bit. It worked out well for them. Nice job, kid, but I'm going to shut you down now.
Yeah, Eternal Empire is going to be our next map. It is a map, I think, where you can have a couple of cheeky Terran builds as well. We didn't really get to see too much of what Drogo wanted to do. I know that in the previous game, he obviously went 4 gases and quick Colossi and then into 3 base, but that could have a lot to do with the fact that he took so much economic damage early on. Maybe his plan was to go for a little more of the parting approach, of making a lot of Blink Stalkers of a War Prism and being very aggressive. Or maybe he wanted to spam Zealot Stalker, but if you're already behind, Zealot Stalker is not really the composition that makes miracles happen either. So we'll see. I feel like we could potentially get a Stargate opening out of Drogo. I think Stargate openings are pretty safe. And on a big map like Eternal, I think that Drogo will look at this, be like, man, I'm the better player. I shouldn't lose to Arctur. Let's just make sure I don't get tricked, that I'm aware of what's going on, and I'll just take the game from there.
Yeah, I actually really don't hate a Stargate opening on this map specifically, because like you were saying, it's a big map, but also there is that extremely annoying area in like behind the natural on whichever side you end up spawning on, where it just feels like the medevacs will just sit there, wait for the moment that you're out of position, and they'll come in, or there'll be that big doom drop of like 4 or 5 medevacs that just comes in, catches you out of position. And you're like, oh no, my 4th base was up in like the other side of the map, so I guess I just don't defend this and I lose my natural or lose a lot of stuff. So yeah, I really, really like Stargate openings on this map.
Let's go ahead and hop into game 2. Played on Eternal Empire. We didn't have too many crazy upsets yet this season in DreamHack Masters Fall. If this man gets the W in this series, that would absolutely be an upset. Top right side, hailing from Russia, our Terran, it is Arctur.
And down in the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have the red Protoss player, our Frenchie. He is Razor Edge's PtitDrogo.
Drogo, of course, started off this group stage with a 2-0 victory over the other Russian player in this group, King Cobra. Arctur, yesterday, we already mentioned that a couple of times, started off his adventure against Bly. Looked great in game 1, not so great in game 2 and game 3. While he did have a couple of cool builds. What I like so far from Arctur, though, is that he's definitely bringing a different flavor to this group stage. Like we saw the triple CC opening against Bly on location at Golden Wall, and now we just saw him float a factory into the main base. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, being able to mix it up is a huge, huge boon, and just staying unpredictable, especially when you're already the underdog. And let's be real, most people know how like a laser or a Euthermal or a Hero Marine play. Not as many people are going to be super familiar with all of Arctur's little nitty-gritty details in his play and what he likes, how he does things. So that is definitely something you can try and abuse.
Command center on the low ground. Obviously, I think you make a very valid point, especially because Arctur is also not somebody that participates in a whole lot of online tournaments. I never see him in the European Pro Tour weekly, or the ESL weekly, I should say. I don't see him in many Wardy tournaments, even though he definitely has the skill to participate in some of those. I don't know. We don't know his ladder account. Apparently, he's got a barcode, or maybe he's sharing an account with someone, which is technically not allowed, but some of the pro gamers, you know. They
actually Nurcio. It's been Nurcio this whole time. He renamed himself from Nurcio to Arctur.
That would be foul play because Nurcio was participating in the qualifiers as well. Did not make the money this time. Made the money in the qualifiers of Masters Summer, but I think he fell rather early in fall.
That'd be pretty funny though. He just plays this as off race. Plays twice in the qualifier. Yeah, that would definitely be against the rules though. I'll take a look at this game. We do have another one of these quick adepts that make their way shade in to the natural expansion, trying to lay this command center. Ooh, oh, there's actually 2 SCVs already here. Nicely done by Arctur. Ooh, he's gonna finish it.
Yep.
There
And the prize of a SCV, but at least he gets the command center done. That's obviously the most important thing. We've got 2 Hellions in production, but it's a kind of an interesting opening as well, right? Because he's opening up with a 2nd barracks before a starport, and this is not super common in this matchup.
Yeah. Tech Lab's gonna finish up on this first barracks, and the Adept is gonna shade forward and just see the Tech Lab on the barracks, which isn't like the craziest, most surprising thing, but it looks like that barracks. Okay, yeah, it's gonna just get swapped off onto the reactor.
So it's a Reaper 2 Hellion opening into a 2-1-1 with a quick stim. All right. It's different again, but I kind of like different. It's fun to see. Can the Hellions make it there before the Stalker and Adept are in position? The answer is no, they cannot.
Yeah, the Reaper is here, so that is still going to be a potential opportunity to just use the Reaper grenade, knock whatever units are actually in that wall out of position. Stalker looks like it's going to try and hold position over there.
Oh, he baited units into the main base. He can now drop the grenade.
Oh, that's the wrong place.
He fell short, man. He needs to watch more Tom Brady. Like, that was just a really bad throw. Come on now.
Oh, man, yeah. That's a cool idea, though. I haven't actually seen a lot of Terran players who go up to the high ground and try and throw up the grenade, because it does give you more vision. It baits the units up to the high ground and just gives you a better chance to actually make something happen there.
Yeah, we missed out on a potentially very cool play there. Reaper goes into the main base, pulls 2 units out of position. Reaper hops back to the low ground, drops the grenade. Stalker bounces out of position. Hellions drive into the natural. Other units still in the main base, and he gets a couple probe kills. That would have been a really cool play, but I mean, when you have such a weak throwing arm, that grenade can't make it from that far. It needs to be a little closer.
Well, StarCraft is a game where you want to be very bad at throwing, so hopefully that's going to be a good sign for Arctur in the long run. But Hellions are going to be able to find this Adept. It does kill one of the Hellions, but ends up losing its life in return. Usually not the trade you want to make as the Protoss player, but Drogo is going to have a perfect idea of everything coming out, sees the starport, does not have anything else add-on wise for it, so can probably expect just some simple old medevacs.
I don't think Arctur should go for this. Sometimes they just dive it in, but Drogo saw it, of course, with the observer, so he left 6 Stalkers in the natural. But I think that what Arctur is doing is very smart. Okay, now he's actually setting up the double Widowmine drop as well. This is something I've seen Big Gabriel do a couple of times, where it's just a little bit later. I think if I'm Drogo right now, I'd be like, why the hell? He's got so many bio units at home as well. And it's important to keep track of those. This is a really funky opening by Arctur. It looks standard, but it's not standard. It's heading towards standard, but he's still going to hit pretty hard, man. Like, that's a pretty strong bio army.
Yeah, I was really wondering, like, I would maybe like this a little more if he actually had his army move out at the same time that medevac had moved out. Because then it would be, you know, Widowmine drop in the natural, Widowmine drop maybe in the main base as well, and he also pushes in with the Bioforce at the third, but now it feels like his medevacs are going to basically be sitting back for a little bit. Now one of the Widowmines moves into the main base, drops off 1 in the main, heads over to the third to drop off the other one, while the Bioforce also comes in there.
Yep, overcharge battery being activated immediately. Drogo's taking this very serious. Big mine shot. Battery gets gunned down. No, why doesn't he kill the cannon? I feel like he should have tried to take out the cannon there as well, but maybe didn't want to overstay his welcome. Another mine drop hops into the net. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So risky, but he has enough damage and he takes out both mines. Well done by Drogo.
Well, Risky went over to the sea region, so someone's got to be risky over here in Europe. We're going to have Colossus coming out now safely, so Drogo should have the tools he needs to push back any of these immediate attempts on from that Bioforce now. So Drogo, I feel like, is finally getting himself well situated into a more safe position. And I think that is the third base just coming down on location. Yeah, it's just being started right now, so it's going to be a bit.
Really good defense by Drogo. I know that one Widowmine did connect with 6 probes, but that's still hard, man. Like, you know there is a bio army out there. You know there is a medevac heading into the main. There is one heading into the natural, and then there is that medevac that changes course. It was in the main, now goes towards the third. I think it's very easy to fall apart and be a bit out of position. Drogo was not. Drogo sizing up this army, just blinks into it, does not care about it at all, as the tanks were not sieged, and Drogo is just so confident in this game. Makes another forward link, gets the Marauder, doesn't get the medevac, but this game seems to be all PtitDrogo at this point.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of catching armies out of position, this is the money amount of units for Drogo to start picking off over here. As it continues the aggression, softens up even more of these Marines. There are plenty of medevacs, so those Marines will get healed on up, but now with the 2 Colossus over here with +1 weapons done, I feel like Drogo just needs a Warp Prism and Charge to finish up, and he'd be good to go. But with no Warp Prism really in sight right now. It seems like, I imagine this is going to be a light bit of poking.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to keep those units at home while comfortably going up to 4 bases. Drogo did say in a couple of the interviews, I believe in DreamHack Masters Summer, that he doesn't mind PvT, but he just doesn't like when it gets past a certain stage. And he feels he's a little bit clueless there. This game, it seems like he's more than willing to bring it to that stage, because I think his start has been so good that if he really wanted, he could have maybe ended there if he would have queued up a Prism after those 2 Colossi or the 3rd one, and then just go for it with a couple of Archons as well, like he's done many times in the past. I think he maybe could have ended this, but he's playing this very safe, and he's willing to get into the late game of things.
Yeah, I guess one of the stages that I know a lot of pros players sometimes do fall apart at is when a Terran player is able to get up a really large ghost count. So I think he's still got some time before we hit that stage, and with Disruptors already coming on out, Drogo's gonna have a lot of tools under his belt to deal with this. Its 4th base, though, is in a more vulnerable location, so Drogo's got to actually sit down over here and defend this. First Colossus already taking a lot of damage. The Stalkers blink on forward. Vikings are staying alive for the most part, but I think that at the end of the day, Drogo has just barely not enough units with these Marauders surviving. He's getting pushed back. The reinforcing charge loss should be able to hold them.
Yeah, he's got that cannon as well to fall back on. Another forward blink. Stalker's not sure what they want to fire at, but in the end they do take care of all the Vikings. Maybe not the prettiest fight, but completely okay for Drogo, because he is on 4 bases. He is getting ahead in upgrades. I wonder how that would have gone if Arctur would have sieged those tanks a little bit quicker, right? Because in the beginning of that fight, the tanks were not sieged at all. And he's like, whoa, he blinked into me again for the 3rd time this game. Like, okay, I guess I'll siege right now. And then we had a very nice Purification Nova that really softened up all those tanks. So they were 10, 20 HP away from dying. I think now Drogo's still in a really good spot. As long as he doesn't get too crazy with his units, he really doesn't need to be that crazy.
Oh, tanks on siege right as Drogo starts to move on, and Drogo hitting the perfect timing. Blinks in on top of the tanks, take care of one of them, takes care of the second one. The Disruptors take care of quite a few units as well, and there's plenty of Zealots to move forward and clean up the rest of his army. Drogo not just defending, but completely swatting down this wave of attack.
Yep, now 20 workers ahead, soon to be ahead in upgrades, and 40 supply up in this game, and obviously a base ahead as well. This game seems to be all PtitDrogo. Did you see that one Purification Nova just swang all the way around and then somehow still caught the 2 Marauders on the top side? It felt like he threw that with a lot of effect. I was like, I didn't even know that was possible to curve it like that, curve it like back
from around town. Yeah, my favorite part was where he walks over almost every single one of his Stalkers and then hits the Terran player. I was like,
know,
oh no, sick. Oh no.
We have a movie curve it like Beckham. I want to curve it like Drogo, okay? I want to see my Purification Novas do those things.
Yeah, if you can make your Disruption Novas bend it like Beckham, then maybe you too can play like Drogo.
I was bend it. Damn it, I thought it was curve. Yeah.
Zealot run by is going to be nice because this entire Terran army is out of position, and now the entire Terran army is trying to move back. He decides to reconsider, though, decides reinforcements will probably be enough, and sends his army back across the map, but he is just going to be greeted by a very prepared Drogo, forcing a siege up on the ramp. Every second that goes by, Drogo gets closer and closer to finishing up +2 armor, finishing up +3 weapons, getting up more Archons, getting up Immortals. Everything is going to go further and further in Drogo's direction the longer that Arctur takes.
Yep, Drogo's going to go for it one more time. Novas go forward. Once again, connect with the tanks. And in the end, the tanks will go down to the last Purification Nova. A couple of Zealots killing SCPs on the top side of the map as well. And that is going to do it. Drogo will tie up this series 1 apiece.
Absolutely. Well done by Drogo. Definitely showing that he is not going to be contended with that easily. And we're going to go to game number 3 in just a little bit, guys. We're going to go to a short break, give these players a bit of time to rest up. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to move into game number 3 here with Arctur being able to take game number 1 with a cheeky build. He does get shut down when the game starts looking a little bit more normal in game number 2. Let's see how things shape up on Pillars of Gold now.
You know, going back to that previous game, I would have still liked to see him just trade out a little bit more with that bio army. When he you gunned down the battery, that's awesome. That cannon had like 20 HP, just gunned it down too. Like the Stalkers are gonna have a hard time fighting that bio army. They can do it, obviously they'll clean it up, especially with a couple of Zealots being wiped in, but that will still require focus, attention, and micro. And that would have opened up the opportunity for that medevac drop in the natural to actually go in during that, right? Because now he ran away and then he sent in that medevac, and then Drogo is obviously looking at that medevac.
I think actually you hit the nail on the head in like a different way, is that I think the reason why, and I agree with your decision, like I agree with your analysis, like it would have been better to do it your way. I think it was because he wanted to have the extra APM to micro the medevac that he ended up pulling everything back, because he was like, I need my extra APM to make sure I can do this Widow Mine drop and be effective with it. But
all right, how much APM does it take for Stimmed Bio to stand there and shoot bullets? That doesn't take any APM, Ravi. He doesn't even need to look at it. Bio's amazing.
Oh, no.
Whether you look
Karen players, close your ears. Hero Marine, turn off the stream.
All right, guys, here we go. We're all tied up. The rubber match, top right side. Main base of our Russian Terran player, this Arctur. We're not done with this yet, but go ahead.
We're not. Down here on the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. He is Le PtitDrogo.
All right.
I mean, a Zealot.
No.
So much more micro than a
I go first. Doesn't it take more APM to run away than just leave your units there and let them shoot at stuff?
Okay, if he had just left them there to shoot at stuff, first of all, he wouldn't have been focus firing down the cannon you were talking about. That's extra clicks.
Oh, come on, he was right next to it.
Okay, I don't actually know if, like, based on my recollection of where we were at in that game and like what was there. It was a little while ago now. It's like 7 minutes ago or something. But I actually don't know that he would have won the fight.
Oh, I'm not saying
no,
I'm not saying that he would have won the fight. I mean, there's a reason why he ran away, right? Because he probably felt he couldn't have won the fight. But what he would have been able to achieve is probably trade out, unless Drogo would really only babysit his Stalkers. But if Drogo would only babysit his Stalkers, that would open the window for that medevac drop in the natural to then just burrow those mines in the middle of that mineral line and potentially get a lot of damage done. I don't know. I think I would have liked to see that, because I feel like it was all supposed to hit at the same time, and now it was like, second one immediately, and then it's like, all right, we're done. Never mind, third one. And it's like, no, that's not the way it was supposed to be.
I'm definitely with you on that. Like, I actually even feel like the first medevac rolled into the main base, then went to the third base, but like with a second Widow Mine, and then there was like another like 3 to 4 second gap before the bio actually made its way up. Then the bio fought, and then there was like another 4 or 5 second gap after he ran away, and then the Widow Mines came in. See, I'm definitely with you. I feel like if all 3 of them had just been timed out perfectly together, which, you know, is actually a little bit more difficult to do the APM wise for all 3 of them, but I think that actually would have been really, really tough to deal with. Like, so close to making something magical happen.
Unfortunately, that SCV did not make it into the bunker. Drogo gets 2 SCVs with his first adept. Can the Reaper live? No, he turns around.
Why did he turn it around?
I don't know. That adept was in love with the Reaper, that's why. It's like the last thing
the
I want to say.
Reaper was not in love with the adept.
All right. Now, the bad thing about losing the adept is that the Stalker is just going home, because it's like, all right, you know, I've got a battery in the main, but what I don't have is a battery in the natural, so I need to keep my Stalker at home to deal with that Reaper. Otherwise, I'm losing probes. At this point, Drogo does not know about the Proxy Stargate. And the Hellions are so popular in this matchup these days, aren't they?
Well, to put it into the context of Euthermal, I believe you know, it was a common popular thing that everyone was, all those pro players were doing their tier lists of units. I believe Euthermal actually put the Hellion in S tier.
S?
Big fan of it. In S tier.
But I also think he put the mothership. Oh no, wait, he put that in the lowest. He was right about that.
Minus 400,
He put the
minus 400.
Phoenix in like D tier. I was like, man, why are you hurting my feelings like that? He was like, well, Roddy, that's how you've been building for the last 9 years. That's why you suck. I'm like, so? All right, Reaper's pulling the Stalker out of position. Hellion drop heading into the main base, though. Drogo's pretty far out of position. He is sending the Stalkers over now, but it is a little bit late. He's got the battery, but these are 4 Hellions that are going to get some big shots off. Battery overcharged? Nope. Yes.
How are these probes like barely dying? Okay, finally a few are starting to fall. 1 Hellion has gone down. The medevac can actually pick up the rest of them. Head over to the National where there is no battery overcharge. Probes being pulled off the line. The Hellions are not actually focus firing down big clumps. Now he starts getting some good damage done, but loses the medevac. Kills 10 workers. I don't know. I'm iffy on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think really just good probe movement by Drogo, because I feel like that could have gone a lot worse, and maybe it should have gone a lot worse. I like the fact that he used battery overcharge as well to heal up all the probes. I think taking care of one of the Hellions as quickly as he did really helped his life out quite a bit, just made everything a bit easier. But, like, normally I'd say, like, okay, not that bad. But since Drogo takes his 3rd and 4th gas before he goes up to 3 bases, then I actually don't hate it that much for Arctur, because he's still up 1 worker right now, and it's not like that 3rd Nexus is about to finish up, and Drogo can chrono boost out 3 probes at a time, so I don't think it's that bad for the Russian.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. Oh,
he's gonna
already a bunker. Oh man, the ultimate defense.
Yeah, bunker and 2 tanks.
Yeah, and it's like all of that, and even the add-ons aren't exactly super close to wherever the stalkers are trying to blink up. So there's no way 4 stalkers are going to get anything done by trying to blink up there. So Drogo's probably going to recognize that with the observer straight on top of every single one of these units and the bunker. I think at this point, yeah, you just probably shill back. Oh no, he set up the observer. Bold move.
That's a really good pickoff, because obviously Drogo doesn't want to use his robo right now to build new observers. He's building an Immortal, and after that, I think he wants to build a Colossi. So there is one observer that's spotting for drops above his main, but that's the only obs that's out right now. I really like that scan by Arctur. That's a really good snipe, super important.
Well, Stalker's going to get forced back for now as the big army here for Arctur starts moving forward.
Very big army. Stim is almost done. I actually really like this move out. Gets the Stalker as well. Arctur is going to go up to 3 bases on location. Drogo right now is building his first Colossi, but he only just started it. He did build a very aggressive forward safety battery. Arctur is going to scan it, but it's 49 army supply against 29. Stim is about to finish up. Combat Shield is about to finish up. I feel that Arctur should just go for it. That Colossus isn't out yet. Drogo's in trouble.
Okay, he's in range of the shield battery as well, but with these tanks, he's going to be able to take that out very, very quickly. Shield battery's already out of energy anyway, but
I'm just going to go for it, guys. Shield battery went down. The Immortal falls immediately as well. Where is the Colossus? There it is, but it's actually a bit exposed. I think the Marauders could have turned around and go for it. The Marauders are going to turn around and go for it. Oh no, Drogo is in all sorts of trouble as he loses the Colossus, and we still have the tanks. Only 1 tank was really participating, but the other 2 tanks are still here as well.
And
this
is definitely getting really, really dicey right now. Drogo is having to pull a bunch of these probes out, and he's going to be able to snag one of the siege tanks.
Super battery is activated.
Zealot's going to take it out. Shield battery overcharge gets focus fire down, and Arctur looking like he's about to upset one of the top names in Europe, one of the top Russian players, and he starts sniping off this 3rd base, killing off any units that reinforce. And remember, he has a 3rd command center behind all of this.
Okay. I think we can't hear each other, so I'm afraid that I'm really talking over Fear Dragon right now.